Is closed up. The panels are closed up as well. Some thunderstorms in the area outside, so doesn't have that day game kind of feel in here. Actually looks like a night game. Final game of this 9-game homestand. The Brewers will head to Chicago to start a series tomorrow with the Cubs. It'll be the first trip to Wrigley Field this year for the Brew Crew. 4-game series in Chicago, and then an off day Monday right back here at Miller Park next Tuesday. Alex Cora leading off for the Mets, starting in consecutive games. We've chronicled the Mets injury situation. They are missing some of their key parts and no relief in sight, at least until after the All-Star break for Jerry Manuel's New York Mets. Cora, base hit, back up the middle. Let's set the Brewers defensively for you. Behind Gallardo, it's Ryan Braun in left. Jody Garrett gets the start in center field with Corey Hart in right. Matt Gamble at third base today. Hardy and Counsell up the middle with Fielder at first, and a battery of Jason Kendall and Giovanni Gallardo. Jody Garrett spelling Mike Cameron. Ken Maka talking about Garrett's value, and while he has struggled at the plate, he's a guy that you can drop into the lineup and you'll get a good defensive effort from Jody Garrett, and he's hoping to get his bat going a little bit just to give him a chance to have some more success coming off the bench.
No, plus you give Mike Cameron a much needed day off. I mean, as you get up there in age and just can't play every single day, you give Garrett an opportunity to get 4 at bats.
Luis Castillo batting in the 2-hole today for the Mets. Castillo did not start yesterday. They had Fernando Tatis playing second base. Castillo did pinch hit and was 0 for 1. The Brewers won the opener here on Monday night 10-6. Braden Looper won that game, and then Mike Burns picked up his first career major league win yesterday as the Brewers topped the Mets 6-3.
That Brewers offense has come alive in this 2-game series so far. The first 2 games anyways. You see Brian O'Nora, the home plate umpire, fielding Culbreth, Gary Cederstrom, and Jim Wolf from first to third. 29 hits and 16 runs for the Brewers in 2 games, and that includes a start by Johan Santana.
Yeah, Mike Burns beating Johan Santana yesterday. The Brewers chase Santana in the 7th inning. Little bouncer. Gallardo's got it, going to second for 1. And that's all they'll have. Nice play by Gallardo. Good presence of mind to get the lead out at second base.
Yeah, tougher play than it looked, because that downslope on the mound sometimes can trip you up. Giovanni able to make the play. A good throw over to second base. No chance for the double play with Castillo getting down the line. Giovanni fields his position extremely well.
Pretty much does everything well on the baseball field. And at only 23 years of age, he has, even in his manager's eyes, emerged as the unquestioned ace of this Brewers ball club. Ken Maka was not so willing to put that label on him this spring and throughout the first month of the season. Here's David Wright. Last night, David Wright put the Mets on the board quickly. 2-run home run in the first inning. Wright's 5th homer of the season. Part of a 3-hit game for David Wright, who comes in as the National League's leading hitter. .345 batting average with 5 homers and 42 runs batted in.
And you can see Giovanni Gallardo trying to pound him inside. Takes the ball to the opposite field very well, particularly on a pitch up and away. Just about the only mistake that Mike Burns made yesterday. Really pitched well. Outpitched Santana last night.
And it was an emotional post-game for Mike Burns after collecting his first major league win. There's a strike on a fastball. Good pitch by Gallardo. Burns said he shed some tears yesterday. His parents were watching the game, and the standing ovation was truly an emotional moment for them as he left this game. 35,000 were on their feet for Mike Burns. But a guy who has paid his dues and persevered and he comes out on top, beating Johan Santana and the Mets. And now, you know, once you pick up a win, you feel like you're part of it now.
Monkey's off your back.
Yep.
You're able to get that win. Took him a while. But still in all, you get out there and he pitched well. The one thing he does extremely well, amongst other things, is throw strikes. He only walked one. Well, you can throw strikes like that and not beat yourself. You got a pretty good chance.
Now, Brian Honora says Wright was unable to check his swing right there. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wright leading the National League. Hanley Ramirez is second. Some great young hitters on that list. Beltran still on this list, despite being on the disabled list for the better part of the month. Runner takes off. The pitch is outside, and that one's into center field. Castillo slow to get up, so he stays at second on a stolen base.
Yeah, they had a pretty good chance to throw him out. And not a good throw by Jason. One of the few throws that you could say wasn't really on the mark. Jason throwing the baseball much better than the statistics would tell you. Dropped the arm, and that ball just sailed. No chance for Craig Counsell to grab it. You can see Castillo in a pile at second base. Too late to get to third base.
Stolen base number 7 for Castillo. The Mets lead the National League in steals as Wright strikes out, chasing the breaking ball. First strikeout for Gallardo at out number 2.
Gallardo's curveball in his last start was the best that he's had as a Brewer. That power curveball, he was getting a lot of strikeouts with it against the Giants, and it looks as though he has that same curveball here today.
It's the command with his fastball and the sight of that curveball, which comes out on the same plane as the fastball and then just dives towards home plate. You made a good reference last time he started. You know, his curveball is Ben Sheets-like in every way.
And last time out it was. And sometimes when he's struggling with it, it kind of serves it out of his hand. It goes up before it goes down. And his last start, he was throwing that power curveball, as you mentioned, coming out of that same hand slot that the fastball comes out of. And pitching coach will tell you that that's the best curveball. Got to throw it hard. That's the strikeout pitch.
Ryan Church bumped up to the cleanup spot here tonight, or today. See our Taco Bell Who's Hot. Giovanni Gallardo in day games this year. He's making his 7th start of the season. And look at that earned run average. Move the dot over 1 spot. 1.37 ERA, which is the best in the National League. Gallardo coming off a win against the Giants his last time out. Went 7 2/3 against San Francisco. Gave up just 1 run. Struck out 9 Giants. Part of a 5-1 Brewers win. Church has had a good series for the Mets. He's been hitting 5th in the lineup with Sheffield in the cleanup spot. Church had 4 hits in the opener, 2 more hits last night. Walked him. So first and second for the Mets here with 2 outs. Take you back to Friday, Gallardo's last start against the Giants.
Yeah, he pitched into the 8th inning, 7 2/3, only 4 base hits. Allowed only 1 run, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, and in his last 2 starts, Giovanni, 6 walks, 17 strikeouts, and that's pretty good work. That curveball was excellent his last time out.
Gallardo threw 118 pitches, 9 strikeouts, only 3 walks. He's been racking up a ton of strikeouts here in his last 3 starts as Evans swings and misses. Pitch count probably the only issue on the radar for Ken Maka concerning Giovanni Gallardo. But when you rack up a lot of strikeouts, you're going to rack up a lot of pitches.
Now, there were back-to-back starts early in the month where he was only able to go 5 innings because of that pitch count issue, but he has certainly corrected that problem.
The 0-2 fastball missed. Gallardo 7 2/3 against the Giants, and then went 7 innings against the Tigers in that loss against Justin Verlander in Detroit. Terrific numbers in the month of June for Gallardo. 2.20 earned run average, and 3 of his 8 wins. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Nick Evans. The Mets threatening in the first. Runners take off, and the pitch is outside. So a couple of more steals in this inning. 3 stolen bases in this first inning.
Now, Jason might have thought that was a strike, but it looked a little bit low. The runners had a great jump. You can see what Jamie Manuel's trying to do. He's trying to get something going here.
2nd and 3rd now, and the 2-2 swing and a miss. Kendall has to secure it over at first. Nice job blocking the baseball, and Gallardo strikes out a pair and strands 2 base runners. Club weathered the storm as they start the day 2 games up in the National League Central. And Maka's lineup courtesy of Subway today. Craig Counsell, J.J. Hardy, and Ryan Braun at the top of the order. Braun's had a big homestand. Prince fielder Corey Hart and Matt Gamble in the middle. And the bottom 3, Jason Kendall, Jody Garrett, and Giovanni Gallardo.
And the Piggly Wiggly scouting report on right-hander Mike Pelfrey today for the Mets. The Mets have lost 4 of his last 5 outings. He had problems in 1 inning in his last start, gave up 4 runs. He's got a very good fastball, good sink to it, very inconsistent with his breaking stuff, and a rough month of June, 23 runs in 25 in the 3rd inning.
Pelfrey with that power sinker ball. He does not give up a lot of home runs. The Brewers coming in with 90 long balls on the season, but Pelfrey has not allowed a home run to a right-handed batter this year, as Counsell sends one deep to right field. Back is Church, and he makes the catch. The ultimate nearly in reverse mojo right there.
Just when you're talking about home runs, huh?
Church, Martinez, and Evans in the outfield. The infield for the Mets is David Wright, Alex Cora, Luis Castillo, and Daniel Murphy. And Brian Schneider making his 2nd start behind the plate of this series. Numbers on Pelfrey.
They talk about the sinker ball. He does a nice job keeping the ball in the ballpark. Has a very good fastball. Throws a lot of them. As we talked about, slider, changeup, relatively inconsistent. Right-handed batters, as you mentioned, don't have an easy time against this guy.
J.J. Hardy yanks one foul. Had a good visit today with J.J. Hardy on Brewers Live pregame, talking about his struggles at the plate. Hardy finally feels like he's weathered that storm as well. Ken Maka said of J.J. Hardy, he has been tested mentally more than any other player on his roster this year. 2 significant slumps at the plate, an 0 for 26 and an 0 for 30, and yet Hardy's still on his feet. Batting average of 233 to start the day, but he's belted 8 home runs and 32 runs batted in.
Yeah, the power numbers, the RBI numbers, not too bad.
Line drive right at Martinez for out number 2.
But when you look at J.J. Hardy in his year and you watch him like we do every day, he's had a lot of outs just like the one he just got. A line drive to center field. He lined out to right field yesterday. It's a hard 233 if that's possible.
Well, and J.J., the one thing he mentioned today is that even if you're struggling at the plate, and J.J. has turned it around at the plate here in the last couple of weeks, you can still make an impact, and a significant impact defensively at the shortstop position. Hardy, an outstanding defender. Braun swings at the first pitch, and that's a quick inning for Mike Pelfrey. 3 up, 3 down. The Brewers go in order. We head to on the 1st of July, but they've got the roof closed, the panels are closed. Very comfortable here in the ballpark today, and they're still coming in. Good crowd on a Wednesday afternoon. Gallardo back on the mound. Daniel Murphy leads off, and Giovanni's in there with strike 1. Murphy at first base once again today. Nick Evans started there yesterday. This is the second start of the series at first base for Daniel Murphy. The last time the Brewers saw the Mets in mid-April, he was their left fielder, and that was an experiment gone wrong. Murphy came up as a third baseman, could not adapt to playing the outfield. And you see a guy like Murphy, Rock, who's a terrific athlete, unable to make the adjustment to left field. It makes you appreciate what Ryan Braun has been able to do, moving from third base to left field.
Ryan Braun has turned into one of the better left fielders in all of baseball. He's making some tremendous plays. He's shown a very good throwing arm in the outfield, very accurate. One thing Murphy can do, though, is hit. Surprising that he's only hitting under 250, because when he was swinging the bat in April, he looked pretty good. Hit the ball to all fields, made pretty good contact. It's been that kind of a year offensively for the Mets. And
down goes Murphy. Gallardo strikes him out with a fastball. A backwards K for Giovanni, his third strikeout of this game already. Check the Firestone leaderboard up above. The National League ERA leaders coming in. Dan Herron coming off a win last night. Lincecum shut down the Cardinals the other night, and his teammate Matt Cain up there. Josh Johnson, a great talent in Florida, and there is Giovanni Gallardo. 286 earned run average to start the day. Giovanni has basically had two bad starts. If you want to just summarize the season, he's had two starts this year where he gave up a ton of runs. Had 7 earned runs allowed in 5 innings against the Reds in early April, as Martinez gets jammed, and 2 gone here in the second inning.
That Tuesday, July 7th, is Time Warner Cable Customer Appreciation Night here at the ballpark as the Brewers take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Find a buy one, get one free Terrace ticket voucher for that game with your most recent Time Warner Cable statement. That's good while supplies last.
Giovanni had that 7 earned run game against the Reds, and then rock a 6 earned run game against Houston in Houston in just 5 innings. Other than that, Gallardo has been a picture of consistency.
Well, as you mentioned, the only thing you can think about with respect to Gallardo that he could use some work on is that pitch count, getting the pitch count up. He did have a start this month, or in June, that he walked 6 batters. Very unusual for Gallardo.
And Ken Maka and Bill Castro will tell you it's not just the number of pitches that is only part of the equation. It's the high stress pitches that Gallardo has to throw. For example, in the first inning, it was a leadoff hit. The Mets had a couple of men on base. Gallardo probably going a little deeper into the bag than he'd like in the first inning. Two balls and a strike on Brian Schneider. That's catcher batting in the 8th spot here today. It was Schneider who drove in a couple of runs with a double following Casey McGee's drop pop-up the other day. That set up the dramatics for McGee in the bottom of the 6th and his grand slam home run. Matter of fact, Mets catchers lead the National League in RBIs combined. Catching duo of Brian Schneider and Omir Santos, the rookie. Well hit ball. Hardy cannot make the play. Shot that one right by the Brewers shortstop, and a 2-out hit.
Well, back-to-back fastballs on the outside corner, and Schneider able to wait back and bang it right back through the middle. That's good at bat by Schneider. Yeah, we saw Santos in last night's ball game. He's up amongst leading rookies offensively this year. Got a run at that Rookie of the Year award, along with Casey McGee, who's all of a sudden found himself in the running. Just out of the reach of J.J. Hardy at short.
Now the pitcher Mike Pelfrey with a man on and 2 outs. Quite a strike zone here. Mike Pelfrey is 6'7". Pelfrey, as a hitter this year, is 4 for 22, a 182 batting average. He has driven in 4 runs. Having a much better season with the bat than his career numbers would indicate. He's a career 99 hitter.
99.
We know the Mendoza line is 200. What's the 100 line?
They haven't come up with anything for that yet.
It's called the highway.
I-95.
The interstate.
Yeah, the interstate.
And he looked like he was on the interstate right there. 4 strikeouts for Gallardo. We head to the bottom of the 2nd, and Prince set to lead off when we come back. As we head to the second inning, and what a month of June he put together, Rock. 363 batting average, 8 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Unfortunately, Albert Pujols just destroyed opposing pitchers in the month of June and is looking like a runaway train for the Player of the Month honor.
As consistent as you could possibly ask any player to be throughout the season, but the month of June incredible for Prince. Very patient at the plate, coming up with the big hits, and been very effective against left-handed pitching so far this year.
Look at Pujols, who now has 30 home runs, hit nearly half of them in the month of June. But Fielder, the Brewers Player of the Month, it was announced moments ago. And consistently, with each passing month, Fielder's numbers a little better, and especially in the batting average category. Fielder starts the day batting .307.
Has some gaudy numbers for Prince. They got one off of Santana last night. Fastball down the middle. Look at the finish for Prince. Over 450 feet out there in right field. Ryan's going to get caught by one of those rights sometime this year.
Fielder down on strikes as Pelfrey finds the inside corner. Pelfrey has good stuff. He is not pitching up to the expectations of the New York Mets so far this year, but he's proven to be a big winner in the major leagues. He won 13 games last year, really in his first full season as a starting pitcher. 13-11 with a .372 earned run average.
And it's all about the command of that sinker, that pitch that he just got Prince. That comeback sinker that starts off the inside corner. Left-handers can't give up on that when it starts in on them, and right-handers can't give up on him if it starts away from him. Got to stick with it.
Hart bangs one back up the middle. Cora on a hop makes the play to get him. Nice pickup over there by Daniel Murphy. Hart got jammed, and 2 outs in the inning. Well, Pelfrey at 6 feet 7 inches can really create some downward tilt on his pitches, and that sinker has such a good tail on it. Boring in on a right-handed hitter, tailing away from a lefty. He breaks a lot of bats when he's right. Ohio native, still just 25 years of age. And the Mets are hoping for big things from Mike Pelfrey the rest of the year. Gamble gets jammed, backhanded by Wright, and a wild throw, and Gamble, who never touched first base, I don't believe. And now Gamble thinking about what to do here. This is going to
give him second base. Apparently it went in the dugout or went into the camera well, one of the two. According to Fielding Colbert, no issue about touching the bag. And another jam shot. David Wright not able to come up with it, and let's see if they're going to give him an error. Base hit.
And then the error that allows Gamble to second base. Gamble got a toe on the bag. I thought for a minute when he walked back to first base, he was indicating that he didn't touch it, but apparently just wanted to make sure the Mets didn't get an out. If you round first base, you're a live base runner at that point.
Yeah, don't even have to round it hardly. You just got to make what appears to be a move towards second base with your head, or a flinch towards second base. In the umpire's opinion, if you're thinking about moving that way, you've got to get back. They can tag you out. You don't actually have to take a step towards second.
Well, the error leads to a runner in scoring position. Now Kendall trying to put the Brewers on the board here. And a base hit down. No, it's a foul ball. Just missed. Looked like chalk was raised. But Jim Wolf right on top of it. Kendall, a narrow miss.
Yep, it's right. Right on it. Able to make the call and get out of the way all at the same time. Doing his best Olay impersonation out there. Well done.
Brother of Randy Wolf, big league pitcher. Good umpire, Jim Wolf. Never panicked, stayed right on top of it. Close call for Kendall, but now he's down, no balls and 2 strikes. Gamble runs pretty well. Should be able to score on a base hit. Best arm in the Mets outfield is in right with Church, but Martinez, the center fielder, has a very strong arm as well.
Yeah, the only problem is with Kendall at the plate, the outfield's pretty shallow. So Gamble's going to have to get a pretty good jump.
And sensing that, Alex Cora sneaks in behind him just to let him know he's there. Gamble's got a big lead. And the 0-2, Kendall lays off. Able to check his swing, a ball and 2 strikes. Brewers have not been playing from in front just about this entire homestand. I'm trying to remember a game where the Brewers had the first lead. I think Monday night might have been the first. The Brewers led in the second inning. Otherwise, they found themselves trailing in just about every game. Game number 9 of this homestand.
Yep, they've got 23 come from behind victories this year. That's a lot. Kind of speaks to what you're talking about. Falling behind early, but good pitching, settling down, and late offense.
Just going through the scorebook here, only once in the last 8 games have the Brewers had the first lead in a game, contributing to those comeback stats. The Brewers come back just about as well as anyone in baseball right now. I think they're second in comeback wins. And it was a comeback win last night for Ken Macha's club that gives them a chance at a sweep today. Little bouncer over to third, right with the long throw, and it's in time, and the inning is over. Still scoreless as we head to the 3rd inning. Now, Bill in Wauwatosa in our carsoup.com email the booth question wants to know, how is the player of the month voted and decided on?
Brewers player of the month or overall?
The Brewers player of the month is voted on by the Brewers traveling media. Just
right.
For,
and you
reference.
and I, we're not media.
We're pretty much told who to vote for by Mike Vasallo. No, that's not true.
Yeah, it is.
2 outs.
Who knows better than Mike? Who's doing well for the Brewers? I would imagine Casey McGee garnered a couple of votes anyway for the Brewers player of the month.
Yep. And he might have a shot at rookie of the month in the National League. And just to answer your question, Bill, the national player of the month, pitcher of the month, rookie of the month, it's all voted on by the media. So we get those sheets as well. Understand we're having some audio issues. Apologize for that. I believe we've gotten it cleared up now. A couple of gremlins in the truck. Not sure what you're going to get on a daily basis as things begin to dry out here at Miller Park.
They're doing a heck of a job getting this place back to normal. A lot of people working a lot of hours here at Miller Park and at service level.
That was a nice touch the other day. I did a community relations appearance with some of the players, Jeff Suppan and Trevor Hoffman, out at Hellfair Field. And Trevor Hoffman and Jeff Suppan both commenting on the front office staff here and the tremendous effort it took to get this ballpark back together. Really, the seating bowl and what you see publicly never had any issues, but underneath the service level, where so much is stored. I mean, you think about all the food and, of course, the Jason Kendall bobbleheads,
right.
Even all the merchandise.
A lot of stuff had to be thrown out.
And they're still in that process. So we tip our hat to all those who have put in some very long hours during this homestand.
Yeah, Pat Rogo and his group down there, I don't think they've been home yet.
Right.
What is it, 10, 12 days? And a lot of the other folks here at the ballpark. You're right. Not only do they have to do what they're paid to do here when the team is at home and when the team is on the road, but a lot of other things.
Full count to right. Got him. Wow. How about that pitch? Giovanni Gallardo is dialed in today. 6 strikeouts. You talk about a power curveball. Gallardo with 6 strikeouts and 3 scoreless innings thus far. Meanwhile, Mike Pelfrey has faced just one over the minimum. An infield hit, the only blemish on his line, as Jody Garrett leads off. Garrett homered off Pelfrey earlier this year as a member of the Padres. Matter of fact, he hit the first ever home run at Citi Field. Garrett said he did it on a 1-1 count. They wouldn't let him swing at the first pitch. They wanted to save the baseball.
Yeah. Well, Garrett off to a pretty good start with the Padres. He struggled as a Brewer, hasn't had too many opportunities. Been very aggressive at the plate. A young player that doesn't get many chances to start and get many at bats. You get up there, you get an opportunity. You see a fastball you like, you're going after it. No waiting around.
Garrett a little flare and right, lays out, cannot make the play. Tremendous effort from David Wright. He almost came up with a spectacular catch.
Shaded off the line. That's why it took him so long to get there, but missed it by an inch. Missed it by that much.
Smart. Gives Garrett another chance. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Brewers center fielder today. Garrett was telling me that home run he hit at Citi Field, the first home run ever by an opposing player in a brand new ballpark. The first batter. He had some serious trivia going there. He's a part of history. And down it goes on strikes. Pelfrey fires one on the corner. Second strikeout for Mike Pelfrey.
And both of them looking, and both of them with the fastball. We talked about that fastball. Good movement on the outside corner. We got Prince Fielder on the inside corner.
One gone. Pelfrey facing Gallardo. Good hitting pitcher. Giovanni jumping on the first one. Giovanni is 4 for 29 this year. That's a 138 batting average. And he's not happy about that batting average at all.
Yeah, home runs came early.
2 of his 4 hits have been home runs. He homered against the Giants and the Pirates. Matter of fact, the home run he hit against San Francisco, the first home run ever by a pitcher off Randy Johnson.
That's hard to believe, isn't it? As long as Randy Johnson's been playing.
2 decades the big unit has been pitching in big league baseball. He's never given up a home run to a pitcher until Gallardo did it in April.
And Seth McClung last year had a first against Johnson. First left-handed batting pitcher to get 2 hits off the big unit. There's that home run we were talking about, a 3-run shot. That would ultimately be the difference in that ball game. And Ian Snell, only mistake he made, Gallardo beat him 1-0. So he's made his home runs count.
He almost took out his manager with that last foul ball, however. And down he goes on strikes. Pelfrey back-to-back strikeouts here in the 3rd inning.
If you can't watch the Brewers on FS Wisconsin, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.TV. The ultimate baseball experience features 100 out-of-market games every week live on your computer, and catch those you missed on demand. For more details, go to Brewers.com.
Cloudy, rainy day outside Miller Park. Roof and the panels closed up tight here today for this final game of the series, final game of the homestand.
What happened to those 90-degree temperatures? I miss them.
Went from 95 to 65 in a week. Counsell narrowly missing a home run in the 1st inning. He sent Ryan Church back to the wall in right field. Well, he's got a good sinker ball going, darting toward the bottom of the strike zone.
Hasn't thrown much else. He doesn't need to, and he's got that pitch working.
Some Willie Randolph fans still Mets fans. Jerry Manuel took over this Mets club from Willie Randolph last year. It's about this time. June 17th was the date Manuel took over the Mets. He was Willie's bench coach.
Willie's been in a good mood last couple of days. Been enjoying himself here at the ballpark.
He told us 2 days ago that he must admit beating the Mets has a little more to it than winning against anyone else. 3-2 to Counsell. Bounces one over to first. Murphy will take it to the bag. And another 3-3 down inning. Well pitched so far. We head to the
against the San Francisco Giants. Outstanding so far through 3 innings. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He's allowed only 2 singles. Mike Pelfrey, on the other hand, is throwing the baseball pretty well. No score here as we head to the 4th.
Gallardo with 6 strikeouts. So the last 2 have been the looking variety. And of the 6, 3 have been called strike threes. It's Ryan Church jumping on the first pitch. 53 pitches for Gallardo through the first 3 innings. Talking to Jason Kendall and the game plan with Gallardo on the mound. Kendall can sometimes be very stubborn with Gallardo's breaking ball. Today, not so much, because Giovanni's been able to throw it for strikes, but he'll make him stick with it. But the idea behind that is that you show a good breaking ball and you show you're going to be tough to handle. The hitters will start to get aggressive second time through the order. They don't want to get down in the count.
Right.
And that's when your pitch count, even though you may throw a number of pitches early to establish what you have, the pitch count will tail off.
And that puts more emphasis on good location early in the count on the fastball. Remember early in the season, Yo was really having a tough time with that curveball. You said it. Jason Kendall made him throw it, and now it's been a very good pitch for him.
Broken bat. The bat goes over Fielder's head, and Hardy makes the play. The ball was fair. The bat was foul.
But the bat went further.
And Church is out. That's got to put a little bee sting in the hands right there. Church still carrying the knob of the bat. I'm talking sawed off.
That thing like a lawn dart as it got into foul territory beyond Prince Fielder. Off the end of the bat. Never did drop it. And an easy out.
Well, Evans drives one into the gap. Jumps on the first pitch. Garrett plays it well off the corner out there. And here come the Mets with a a one-out double.
That's what we're talking about right there. You talked about it exactly. I mean, when you have a good curveball working like that, hitters, by nature don't want to get deep into the count, don't want to have to deal with that. So they get a fastball early in the count, they're going to jump on it. Even hitters that typically will take pitches, work the count a little bit. We saw that yesterday with Santana on the mound. The Brewers all over first pitch, early count fastballs, and did a lot of damage. When you show a good fastball or a curveball like Yo has his last couple of times out, that's going to be the case. You can't just throw that fastball down the middle early in the count to get ahead.
Now, 4 of the last 5 hitters have swung at the first pitch. Murphy takes a ball. Mets have a runner in scoring position. Daniel Murphy struck out looking to start the second inning. Murphy was one of Jerry Manuel's best pinch hitters. When he doesn't start, coming off the bench, he's hitting .367. They're just trying to find a position for him. Murphy had a tough label put on him early in New York. When he first arrived, there was talk that he was a Don Mattingly type presence at the plate. That's a lot for any player to deal with, especially in the big city of New York.
Yeah, I mean, that's not fair. Looks a little bit like Mattingly in his setup, but he's far from Don Mattingly at this point.
Mattingly now the hitting coach in Los Angeles. Gallardo, fastball on the corner again. Murphy is down again, and that is the 7th strikeout for Gallardo.
They caught him looking for a curveball right there. That fastball catching plenty of the plate.
Aflac trivia today, Rock. Who was the last Brewers duo to lead the majors in RBIs in a single month? Braun and Fielder lead the major leagues in RBIs for the season coming into play today. They are ahead of Ibanez and Ryan Howard of the Phillies. Fly ball to left. Braun settles under it, and Giovanni gets out of it. So a one-out double is stranded. Still scoreless as we head to the home fourth. J.J. Hardy, Ryan Braun, and Prince Fielder set to lead off.
Annual Brewer Brewers Alumni Charity Dinner at the Capitol Grill in downtown Milwaukee. Join host Davey Nelson along with Brewers legends and current coaching staff for a special evening, including a 4-course meal and more. Visit brewers.com/community for tickets, guys.
All right, Telly, thanks a lot. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning from beautiful Miller Park. Final game of the homestand, a 9-game homestand in all. The Brewers are in the middle of a long stretch of games here at Miller Park and in the surrounding area. Matter of fact, this is game 9 of a stretch where the Brewers play 15 of 19 here at home. And the only road games are coming up, the 4-game series in Chicago. Right back here on Tuesday. Pelfrey has spun a beauty for the Mets so far. He's faced just one over the minimum. The only base runner was Matt Gamble, who reached on an infield hit. Hardy lined out his last time up. JJ shot one to center field. Breaks his bat and a foul ball. Boy, Pelfrey is going through the lumber here today.
And eating up right-handed hitters. Buzzing them inside. He's getting left-handed hitters off the end. And he's got that good movement going. He can be tough to hit. He's only given up 6 home runs all year.
And none to right-handed hitters all season. Only Tim Lincecum's streak is longer. Hardy muscles one into left center. Base hit. Staying right on the baseball. J.J. Hardy delivers with a leadoff single, and for the first time in this game, the Brewers have their leadoff man aboard.
Yeah, talking to J.J. around the batting cage a couple of days ago, he says he really feels as though he has a good idea of what he's trying to do up there at the plate. You know, sometimes you kind of feel lost. You're not sure where your hands are. You're not sure where your feet are supposed to be. You're thinking about everything but the baseball. But right now, J.J. is starting to really feel comfortable up there.
Hardy had a hit last night. He was 1 for 4. Had 4 hits and on base 5 times in the opener of this series on Monday. And the goal in any inning, have some men on base for Braun and Fielder. Ken Maka talking about the RBI numbers for Braun and Fielder, and they lead baseball in tandem RBIs. Ken Maka, the first to mention it's his job to find a couple of guys who can get on in front of him in the 1 and the 2 spot.
And they were doing that early in the season with Ricky Weeks and JJ, but Craig Counsell in the platoon situation, trying to find somebody to lead off against left-handed pitching. That's been the trick. It's Corey Hart last night.
Last night, Braun drove in 4 runs, had 3 hits, and currently on a 7-game hit streak. Second time through the order for the Brewers against Mike Pelfrey. Braun grounded out. He saw 1 pitch in the first inning. Rolled out to second base. Three and 1. Here is a very good spot for Ryan Braun. Hitters count. 3 balls, 1 strike, a base runner on, and that man waiting to hit next.
This is where you got to be patient. You got to make Pelfrey get that pitch, have him start it at the belt, because if he starts it just above the knees, it's going to end up down too low, and you're going to ground into a double play. This is where a sinker baller can use the aggressiveness of the hitter to his advantage. You got to be patient. You got to make him get the ball up in the zone.
Braun had never faced Pelfrey until today. 3-1. And Ryan fouls it away, got in on his hands. He's got a good fastball today, Pelfrey. See what Braun and Fielder did in the month of June, combining for a .354 average. 15 home runs in the month of June as well. Fielder had 8 of those, and 51 runs batted in. And the Brewers didn't even really have a good month of June, a good record in the month of June.
Well,
anyway.
both Ryan and Prince were very consistent, but that streaky Brewer offense, the guys around them, they get hot, they get cold, and it has a lot to do with the success of those two guys, the guys around them.
Hardy takes off. Braun fouls it away. Now the Brewers in the month of June, 12-15 to wrap up the month, but a couple of wins to finish the month off. Matter of fact, a 5-3 homestand so far. Trying to sweep the Mets today, make it a 6-3 homestand, and hit the road feeling pretty good about themselves.
Against a struggling Cubs ball club. Cubs have lost 7 of the last 10.
I think Brian O'Nora had something in his eye here. Athletic trainer Dan Wright checking him out. Umpire's got to be able to see, right? Maybe lost contact. I wonder if Dan Wright can talk him into a few extra strike calls down there while he's at it. Aflac trivia. Who was the last Brewers duo to lead the majors in RBIs in a single month? What do you think, Rock? How about Hardy and Fielder?
There you go.
May of '07.
Wasn't that long ago. I was thinking more along the lines of a Burnett-Sexton combination. Something along those lines. Maybe Jenkins in there somewhere. A couple of years ago.
You could never go wrong with a Yount-Molitor combination.
Yep. Yount-Cooper, something like that.
Most RBIs in the month of June. Braun and Fielder tied with Cody Ross and Hanley Ramirez. Here comes Brian O'Nora. Nothing to see here. He's okay. Ohio native, 12-year big league umpire. He was a playoff umpire last year as well. That's how you gauge umpires. They get playoff assignments.
They're evaluated on their competence throughout the year, how well they do. And the best umpires get to, obviously, umpire postseason. That's the way it should be.
Brian O'Nora was an umpire in the League Championship Series last year. I wonder if Braun trusts his eyesight at this point.
Well, it was the left eye that was the problem, so Pelfrey better not try and scoot one inside.
Schneider setting up inside. And a throw to first.
Just can't see that inside corner with a bad left eye.
Braun says you can see, right? You're good? You need a minute? Three and two to Braun. Hardy at first. And he takes off, and Braun bounces one over to short, backhanded by Cora. No throw made. Braun legs out an infield hit.
And no way they're going to be able to throw Ryan out. That's one of the reasons why Ryan is going to be a 300 hitter just about every year. He's got good speed. He can beat out infield hits. He's had a bunch of them already this year. Especially when he smells a hit, he can really get down the line. Good base running by JJ, staying put.
And a heads-up move by Cora. I don't think he ever intended to throw the baseball there. He wanted to see if he could catch Hardy rounding the bag.
Good thing they were running on the pitch, because that would have been a force out.
So 2 on for Fielder. And Prince hits one high in the air. Deep right field. Did he get enough? Church at the wall. And he will make the catch. Hardy tags and will make it to third base. Just missed it.
Oh, man. Almost hit the roof with that one. Straight up in the air. Yeah, sinker down and in. Prince got under. You can see the big swing finishing high. Thought he got it maybe. A mile in the air and just in front of the wall. Church able to make the catch.
Fielder homered last night here against Johan Santana. Matter of fact, Fielder was Santana's final hitter. He homered against him in the 7th inning. Hardy does advance to third base, and now Hart trying to drive in a run. Scoreless here in the bottom of the 4th. And the best opportunity to score in this game for Milwaukee.
And Brewers back-to-back nights, not messing around with taking first pitch fastballs. I mean, Prince Fielder going after the first pitch. Saw Corey Hart do it here.
Now you wonder if Maka has something up his sleeve with Ryan Braun at first. Braun has good speed.
As many ground balls that Pelfrey has been getting. Not a bad idea to try and get something going, get Brawny moving.
Stays put, and a bouncer to second. Castillo to Cora, and a double play to end the inning. So just like that, the Brewers' rally is snuffed out. Pelfrey, another scoreless inning, gave up 2 hits to start it, but a double play wipes it out. We'll pose this question to you throughout the week, give you the final results on Sunday. And the question is, should Manny Ramirez be allowed to play in minor league games during his 50-game suspension from the Dodgers? W for yes, X for no. 234-234 is the number. Manny Ramirez set to return to the Dodgers on Friday. Scoreless as we head to the 5th. Gallardo and Pelfrey hooking up in the dandy. Brian Schneider leads off for the Mets. Then Pelfrey, and then back to the top of the order. Giovanni has racked up 7 strikeouts, and 4 of the 7 on called strike threes. Each club with 3 hits. The Mets have committed the only error. Schneider yanks one foul.
But he saved his best curveballs for the Mets' best hitter, David Wright. Back-to-back strikeouts of David Wright on curveballs. One swinging, one looking.
Gallardo will miss the entire Cubs series. His next scheduled start is next Tuesday after the off day. And Gallardo, who is currently 5th in the league in earned run average and wins, certainly trending towards an all-star appearance, but it'll have a lot to do with how Ken Maka decides to use him the rest of the first half prior to the all-star break.
Yeah, the way the schedule's laid out right now.
He went. Schneider down on strikes, and that's number 8.
Another good curveball. Hey, Yvonny Gallardo, after today, he's due to start on the 7th, the day after the team off day, and could potentially make another start on the 12th, right before the All-Star game. And that could have a big impact on whether Yvonny makes the All-Star team or not.
Because Charlie Manuel, the All-Star manager of the National League from the Phillies, he is not going to select pitchers who cannot be used. That's really the big change now, as opposed to a few years back, because the All-Star games count, and you have a certain amount on your roster. You can't have a guy who's not available. If Gallardo pitches on Sunday, there's no way he would pitch in the All-Star game Tuesday.
Really, how can you justify to your team by saying he's not going to start against the Cardinals because they wanted to pitch in the All-Star game? What's more important? I would imagine he's going to make those starts. 2 more after this one.
It will be interesting to see what the Brewers will do with their rotation. Do they stay on a 5-man rotation even with an off day, or does somebody get bumped and they stick with a 4-man rotation like they did earlier this season?
That's the only way that, Yvonny, and maybe only make that one start before the All-Star game, make the team. That's assuming that Charlie Manuel is considering on picking him. You don't know. You don't know what his thought process is right now, but he certainly has the credentials to go.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Pelfrey, and he lays off a tough pitch. 3-2. Surprised he threw him a breaking ball there. Gallardo's season high for strikeouts is 11. He did that against the Pirates right here at Miller Park back in April. Little bouncer, J.J. Hardy, with plenty of time, takes care of Pelfrey for out number 2. I want to remind you about the Brewers block parties. They are back. Join players, coaches, Bernie Brewer, and the world famous Clement Sausages on Saturday, July 11th. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Kern Park in Milwaukee. Plus, if you're one of the first 300 people in attendance, you'll enjoy free hot dogs, sodas, and potato chips, Rock, all on your expense account. Visit brewers.com/block party for more details. It's always good fun. Teddy Werner working hard, doing a great job putting the block parties on.
As long as they're Clements hot dogs, I'm in.
First 300 and they're free. You'll be there. Alex Cora batting with 2 outs. There are many who feel Alex Cora will someday be a big league manager. Alex played his college baseball at Miami. His brother Joey Cora seems to be surfacing as big league managerial potential as well. It's been a long career for Alex Cora. I saw Alex come up through the minor leagues, as a matter of fact, in San Antonio, Texas.
Been a nice career for Cora. Kind of a utility infield type. Contact hitter, can run a little bit. A student of the game. You find him right next to the manager, the coaches, trying to learn as much as he can on the bench about how to run a game.
Cora now in his 12th big league season, his first with the Mets. He's been with the Red Sox the last 3+ seasons. Part of the World Championship team in Boston.
Well, you wonder how willing, big leaguers these days are going to be to go down to the minor leagues and learn how to coach. You know, with the way salaries are, guys don't really need the money to do that. I mean, back in the old days, not that long ago, I mean, a guy would spend a decent career and be willing to go to the minor leagues, earn some money, work his way through the ranks, and ultimately, hopefully, get a big league job somewhere as a coach or a manager. You wonder, with the way money is these days, whether players are going to be willing to do that.
But you remember how up in arms the baseball community was when Mike Scioscia got the Angels managerial job, having not managed at all at any level. Gallardo strikes out Cora. A dart on the outside corner. And Giovanni has 9 punch-outs through the first 5 innings. He's got a 3-hit shutout going. See if the Brewers can get him some runs here. With the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Bernie's anxious to slide today. Not much offense thus far. A well-pitched game. Mike Pelfrey for the Mets. Giovanni Gallardo for the Brewers. Brewers had 2 on to start the 4th inning and could not score. And then Pelfrey got a double play from Corey Hart to end the inning. Pelfrey facing Matt Gamble to lead off. Brock, we're talking about all-star rosters. It was just announced, I mean, in the last few moments from Major League Baseball, that they have expanded all-star rosters.
And they should. I think that's a good move.
33 is the number now.
You just can't allow what happened to the All-Star game here in Milwaukee to ever happen again. Run out of pitching, and just can't do that.
So they add 1 spot to the All-Star rosters. Goes from 32 to 33, which is designated for a 13th pitcher. So that opens up some options. You think it's just 1 spot. What could that really mean? But it means a lot, especially when you're in a situation with pitchers who can't give you much.
Right. Starters aren't going to be asked to pitch too long. Closers are going to get an inning at the maximum.
Ball and 2 strikes to Gamble, and he takes one in tight. 2-2. Gamble had the first Brewers hit. 2 of the 3 Milwaukee hits in this game have been infield hits. Gamble had one of those in the 2nd inning. And down he goes on strikes. Pelfrey has great command and picks up his 4th strikeout.
Yeah, that backdoor sinker in on the hands and catches the edge. Well, today's Tavern of the Game winner is the Odd House Pub and Grill in New Glarus, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite. You know where New Glarus is?
You mean the little Switzerland of Wisconsin?
Is that a yes? Southwest of Madison. You knew that, didn't you?
I believe that's the Spotted Cow home right there, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that right? You've been getting around, haven't you?
Yeah, well, you know, I took a little drive with the wife the other day.
Population 2,111. It says here on the card.
Oh, you have information on your card?
I do. Now they're starting to tell us where these cities are. It all started with Blue Mounds. Remember back early in the year?
Oh, yes, I do. Razor shines positioning the outfielders, but they're not paying attention to him. He's not happy about it. He's trying to get Nick Evans' attention.
Yeah, we had Eddie Cedar and Davey Nelson explaining outfield positioning and signaling on last night's instructional. Eddie does a great job positioning the Brewer outfield.
And unlike Razor Shines, Ed Cedar's voice can be heard from miles and miles.
And Mike Cameron's kids out there with us.
Kendall draws the walk. First walk given up by Pelfrey in this game. Now, don't forget, you can continue to vote online. It ends Thursday, July 2nd. You can vote 25 times per email account for your favorite Brewers player. Basically, if everybody in our viewing audience votes 25 times and maxes it out, then your favorite Brewers players will make the team.
1 day, 8 hours and a half till launch. So get your votes in, 25 per email account.
I wonder if that's the same clock we use to clock Todd Coffey when he runs in from the bullpen. Same technology. Now Kendall draws the walk. The Brewers lead the National League in walks this season. Let's see if Garrett can do something with it. Garrett struck out looking in the third inning. One of 4 Pelfrey strikeouts. 3 of the 4 have been called strike threes. Pelfrey, a pitcher who relies on a sinker, does not give up many home runs, but Garrett homered off of him in the first game at Citi Field.
Just threw him a slider on 2-0. If the Brewers are going to do any running in this situation, Jason's going to have to get a little bit bigger lead.
The 2-1. Kendall stays put. Garrett takes a ball. Well, Garrett was getting significant playing time in San Diego. It has been scaled down since, and Ken Maka certainly understands how difficult it is when you change roles. Garrett traded to the Brewers from the Padres, and pretty much in a bench player role at this point. Bounces out, 1 out to Castillo to second for 1 to turn, and a double play, and Pelfrey out of the inning once again. Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go. There's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing. Locked up in a pitcher's duel this afternoon at Miller Park. And normally you'd say in a day game at Miller Park, it's the shadows that give the pitcher an advantage, but nothing doing today. The roof is closed. It's cloudy outside. Good hitting conditions. It's just well pitched games on both sides.
It's the pitchers that are the problem today. Both of them throwing very well. How about Yovani Gallardo? 9 strikeouts through 5 innings.
Just 2 off of his season high. Luis Castillo leads off for the Mets. Castillo, Wright, and Church. So the swing inning for Yovani Gallardo here in the 6th as he has to go through the middle of this Mets order. This is the time of the game that usually makes or breaks a starting pitcher as he fires another strike in there. 0-2 the count on Castillo.
Yeah, 3rd time through, hitters pretty much figure you out. You maybe establish a pattern, and a lot of times the pitcher will change it up just a bit. It's all a matter of who makes the adjustment first, the pitcher or the hitters.
Castillo is 0 for 2, but he does have 2 stolen bases in this game. The Mets stole 3 bases in the 1st inning. Were unable to score. Castillo running a lot better these days than what we saw of him last year. He really battled knee injuries a season ago. When he first came up, he was one of the fastest in all of baseball. Still has good speed, just not the blinding speed he once possessed. And a little slap flare that is a fair ball. Vintage Luis Castillo as a fan comes falling out of the stands. And that'll be a double for Castillo.
You're right. I mean, when Castillo was young and he had good speed, I mean, that would have been close to a triple. That guy can fly and does that very well. And a pitch out away from him, able to just get the bat on it, just serve it down the line and left. Brewers had him shaded that way anyway, but still in all, Castillo does that with the best of them. And what's the rule there? If you have 1 foot on the tarp, you're all right?
I think as long as you're connected to the tarp, you can stay. We don't advise you going after a baseball that is in play. A double for the Mets. And now Gallardo having to deal with the league's leading hitter with a man in scoring position. Well, there is a base open at first, but Gallardo has struck out David Wright twice in this game.
Well, you also have a pretty hot hitter on deck. Although that will set up the double play, so be careful with Wright. You've been able to get him with the curveball so far today.
Brian Church is next. Leadoff double for the Mets. Nobody out in the 6th, and Wright takes strike 2. Gallardo just keeps pouring him on the inside corner. And now Kendall brings J.J. Hardy up, and Craig Counsell, he wants to change the signs here.
Well, back-to-back innings where the Mets have been able to get a double, a 1-out double for that matter. Make sure they're on the same page. Move them around. You don't want anybody to get the signs and relay them to the hitter.
Well, in a similar spot in the 1st inning, Castillo stole 3rd base. Counsell keeps him close, and the 1-2, and Wright takes a called strike 3. Gallardo with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball right on the corner at the knees.
Yeah, carving him up. You had David Wright looking curveball right at the knees. A perfect pitch. Able to get him. There's a case of a very good hitter guessing wrong, and very dangerous to guess with 2 strikes.
3 strikeouts for David Wright. Gallardo has 10 strikeouts.
This may be a situation where you want to pitch carefully here. You got a right-handed hitter on deck, young kid. Ryan Church has been very hot in this series. I think that's what Jason Kendall might be going out just to make sure that Gallardo is understanding of the situation. Not that he isn't, but you don't want to take any chances. One bad pitch could cost you the game.
Especially the way Mike Pelfrey is pitching.
That's what happened to Yo in Detroit. One bad pitch cost him the game.
And the same against the Mets the last time in mid-April when Gallardo and Santana hooked up. Santana won the game 1-0. It was a no decision for Gallardo, who went 6 shutout in that game and struck out 7 Mets. He is 1 strikeout away from tying his career high. They'll ask if he went. Yes, he did. Jim Wolf raises the thumb on him. Church unable to check his swing. And it's a ball and a strike.
Now this is where Jason Kendall has to make sure he blocks that curveball. He's done a good job of it so far today, but if you're going to throw the breaking pitch here, it's got to be down and in the dirt.
Church tied a career high with a 4-hit game against the Brewers 2 days ago. Church hit .307 in the month of June with 10 runs batted in. Manuel has him in the cleanup spot behind Wright today as Gallardo misses down and in. 3 balls, 1 strike on Ryan Church. Hitters count. And a breaking ball bounced up the middle, of base hit. And Castillo is going to score. Church hits a 3-hopper through the infield, and the Mets are on the board.
Hung a curveball in 3-1. And Ryan Church able to sneak it just out of the reach of Counsell. Tried to knock it down. Now Giovanni was very careful throughout that entire at bat. He really didn't want to give Church anything to hit. That was the only strike right there until the base hit. Tried to keep the ball down, tried to get the curveball in the dirt, hung that one on 3-1, and it cost him a run. Counsell did whatever he could, or tried anything to keep that ball in the infield.
Church has had a good series. An RBI single. The Mets lead it 1-0, and Evans a huge cut. Breaking the scoreless tie here in the 6th. Evans doubled off Gallardo in the 4th inning. Chases another one. Outstanding play by Jason Kendall. That's such a big play for Kendall to be able to block that breaking ball, especially with 1 out. Keeps the double play intact.
Yeah, as long as it's over the plate. I mean, as long as the catcher doesn't have to go too far inside or outside, that's a relatively easy block, particularly if it bounces right in front of you. When you call that curveball, you anticipate it, you expect it in the dirt. It's those fastballs that become a little bit tricky to block. You don't expect them in the dirt, and they kind of surprise you.
Pitch count for Gallardo now at 97. Still just 1 out. The Mets have scored. First run of the game comes in the top of the 6th. Gallardo is scheduled to lead off in the bottom of the 6th. Runner takes off. Kendall on a short hop fires to second, and it's in time. What a play by Jason Kendall. The throw was only half the battle in that situation.
A tremendous job by Jason Kendall getting the pick. He had to block it first. Then it rolled up his chest protector and threw a strike. Not a very good jump by Ryan Church. And they were able to get him. Nice throw. Nice throw. A good pick by Craig Counsell, and he was able to keep him the glove after the tag.
Well, you're not thinking about a caught stealing with a pitch in the dirt. Now Gallardo can get out of this inning. Slings one high and out of the zone. Looked like Gallardo let a breaking ball go, and now looking at his right hand, maybe a blister issue. Some kind of play by Kendall. Church picked the right pitch to run on. The 3-2. Lost him. Second walk given up by Giovanni.
Still no activity in that Brewer bullpen. Guys starting to move around a little bit, stretch out, get the blood pumping. Hey, fans, for just $36, get one Lowe's infield ticket to one of 8 Brewers games and a $25 Potawatomi Bingo Casino restaurant gift card. You have to be 21 or older to dine in the restaurant. Call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com/Potawatomi.
Here's Daniel Murphy. Just keeping an eye on Gallardo between pitches. He keeps checking his right hand, his throwing hand. So runners in on 2 hits. All in a strike. That caught stealing looking very big right now. Without it, the Mets are looking at first and second with 1 out.
Jason Kendall, for a guy that is catching a day game after a night game, really bouncing around behind home plate tonight or today. That number very deceiving for Jason Kendall. He's throwing a lot better than those numbers, I'll tell you.
That one is hit high in the air to right. Corey Hart is back, running out of room. He's at the wall. He's got it. Close call. Murphy narrowly misses a 2-run homer. A run is in. Now the Brewers play catch up again. Game of the series with the Mets. Pitching has been the headliner so far today. Mike Pelfrey with 5 shutout innings. Giovanni Gallardo 5 shutout as well, but just surrendering the first run in the top of the 6th. It was an RBI base hit from Ryan Church. The seeing-eye single that led to the run after the Castillo double to start the inning. So for the 8th time on this 9-game homestand, the Brewers are behind. And an interesting move here as Pelfrey is set to work. It is going to be Giovanni Gallardo who leads off. Ken Maka is going to give him a chance to return to the mound, perhaps.
Apparently nothing wrong with Gallardo. That's always good news. Still throwing well. I mean, Brewers have to score anyway. So, 1-0, no big deal. Besides, the Brewers, I don't think would be comfortable unless they were behind at some point.
They have only had the first lead once on this homestand. That was in the opener against the Mets. And they've won 5 out of 8 so far. Gallardo can tie it with one swing of the bat if he gets his pitch. Down the right field line, in the seats. Gallardo's power spot is the high fastball. And Pelfrey doesn't throw many of those. And he lines one to left. Evans is right there. Boy, got good one on that one. One away.
And Pelfrey hung a slider that time to Gallardo, and Gallardo hit it hard to left. There's a bit too many hard hit balls today by the Brewers. Pelfrey's had very good stuff all day. A lot of ground ball outs.
Brewers' best chance to score was the 4th inning. They had the first 2 on. Pelfrey got a fly ball out from Fielder with 2 on and nobody out on a ball that Fielder missed hitting out by about 10 feet or so, and maybe a fraction of an inch on the bat. And then Pelfrey got a double play ball from Corey Hart to end the inning. 2 double plays in this game for Pelfrey. The Mets have now turned 7, make it 8 double plays in the last 4 games.
And they haven't won one of them.
Well, the Mets have lost 5 straight. Counsell back up the middle, a base hit. Tying run aboard as Counsell singles with 1 out. Counsell had his 11-game hit streak snapped yesterday when he pinch hit and grounded out.
Well, fastball that leaked out down the middle part of the plate. Looked like Schneider wanted it inside, left it out over the plate, and Counsell able to punch it into center field.
J.J. Hardy, he's hit the ball hard twice. He lined out in the first and lined a single to left center in the 4th inning. Mets lead 1-0 on a Ryan Church RBI single with 1 out. Church has now had 7 hits in the series.
Well, the Brewers had an opportunity to pitch around him a little bit. Didn't have to throw him a strike. Didn't look like they wanted to throw him a strike. Unfortunately, Gallardo hung a breaking ball.
Well, 2 balls and a strike. The way things have gone the last 2 innings, do you dare send Counsell in a spot like this? Pelfrey has gotten inning-ending double plays in the last 2 innings.
They got to get something going. I mean, with a guy that's throwing as many ground balls as he's been, of course, Craig, not the fastest guy out there in the field.
He takes off. Hit and run is on, but Schneider unable to find the handle. And the Brewers steal the base. Just like moving Stonehenge at this point.
Well, JJ protected him on a slider that was way off the outside corner. Counsell on the hit and run. He's looking in. See JJ swinging at it, and maybe that's what disrupted Schneider just enough to have him bobble it. So a man in scoring position for the Brewers. Not even close to the strike zone, but on a hit and run, hitter has to swing the bat.
Second stolen base for Counsell. See if Hardy can tie it up. A long ball puts him ahead. And JJ breaks his bat. Cora will handle it for the out. 2 gone. Counsell still at second for Ryan Braun.
Good thing that Counsell wasn't at first base on that ground ball. That would have been an inning double play. Now what do you do here? What's this conversation about? You can't be too careful with Braun. You got Prince coming up.
Pick your poison, right?
Yeah. Keep the ball down, basically. Give him your best stuff.
Braun reached on an infield hit last time up back in the 4th inning. That extended his hitting streak to 8 games. Up there with 2 outs and Counsell at second base. Ryan is a good low ball hitter. He's a good hitter, period, but he hits with power on pitches down the strike zone. We saw that yesterday with Santana. A low changeup that Braun ripped over the head of Sheffield and left. Braun with 16 homers, 57 runs batted in. Driven one. Right center. Run down by Martinez. Boy, they had him played perfectly. That's a base hit on most days, but Martinez was in the gap in right center. And the Brewers come up empty. On Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. Mets lead it 1-0 as we head to the 7th inning. Gallardo back on the mound and facing Martinez. Fernando Martinez made the catch against Ryan Braun to end the 6th inning. Had him shaded into right center, and his great speed, he was able to run one down.
Now, positioning the outfield like that only works if your pitcher puts the ball where he's supposed to. And Pelfrey threw that slider right on the outside corner. Braun had no choice but to hit it into right center. And Martinez waiting for it. Now you hang that pitch or you put it middle in. I mean, that's probably a triple for Brawny.
Martinez chases one. Kendall secures the strikeout at first base, number 11. That ties a career high for Giovanni Gallardo. Miller Lite, what's on tap? We're headed to Chicago at Wrigley Field tomorrow. First game of a 4-game series. On the air at 6:30 for Brewers Live, and then the 3 remaining games will be day games. 12:30 is airtime Friday. 11:30 a.m. is airtime Saturday. Brian Snyder takes strike one. He is 1 for 2 today. Oh, 2. Gallardo had 11 strikeouts against the Pirates earlier this year. That was a career high. And that was a 1-0 Brewers win. Giovanni trailing 1-0 here today. The Brewers will have Fielder, Hart, and Gamble due up in the bottom of the 7th. Maka sticking with Gallardo, trying to give him a chance to hang around long enough for the offense to figure out Mike Pelfrey.
Probably going to be his last inning. He's already sitting here at 111 pitches. Trying to, keep an eye on his pitch counts as he goes out there each and every time.
Got him. Big breaking ball from Gallardo. Number 12 for Giovanni, a new career high for strikeouts in a game.
Hey, Brewer fans, elect your favorite Brewers to the 2009 All-Star team. Vote early, vote often, and vote Brewers. Now through July 2nd at Brewers.com.
Ryan Braun second among National League outfielders in the fan voting. And you only have 1 day, 7 hours, 57 minutes, now 56 minutes and 59 seconds. And it's that clock changes things, It's just like when you're running laps. When they put a clock on you, sets up a whole new set of circumstances.
Sense of urgency.
Little grounder, Fielder backhands it. No problem to the bag. 3 up, 3 down. Good inning for Gallardo, probably his last. Has a career high 12 strikeouts. Now it's up to the offense to try to get him a win here. Fielder leads off when we come back.
Giovanni needs some run support, Davey. In the 5 games that he has pitched, the team has lost this year. They've only scored an average of 3 runs a ball game, and now he's got 12 career strikeouts in this one.
Well, he does, and the thing about it is, in those games that the lack of run support, he's gone up against some pretty good guys like Johan Santana and Randy Johnson. But the thing about it is, we got the top, that middle of our order coming up. Hopefully they can produce, because he is pitching outstanding.
Yep, they're going up against Mike Pelfrey, and our instructional coming up after the ball game, backing up the catcher. We've seen 2 significant plays already on this homestand. Davey and Bill will break that down, plus the game, full post-game coverage as well coming up on Brewers Live here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brian?
All right, Craig, Davey, thanks a lot. Prince Fielder ready to lead off. He'll be followed by Corey Hart and Matt Gamble. And there's a good indicator that Giovanni Gallardo is done for the day, as Villanueva gets loose, and he'll have the 8th. Still a chance for the Brewers to give Gallardo a chance for a win, but they're going to need at least 2 here in the 7th inning. Fielders wraps one to left field, a base hit, jumping on the first pitch from Pelfrey.
Now, Prince has seen 2 pitches in his last 2 at bats. A deep fly out the right his last time up. First pitch out over the plate, up in the zone, and bangs it into left field. That's how you hit 300. Using the whole field. Prince has been doing a good job of that.
Just a beautiful stroke and a high finish. Fielder 1 for 3 today. And the Brewers, for the 3rd time in this game, have a leadoff runner aboard. Did he just fake to first?
He did.
Pelfrey saying he stepped off. That's going to be a balk, and Fielder will be awarded second base. And now he's telling Brian O'Nora, didn't you see me step off?
Well, you got to step off and then throw. You can't step off as you throw. That's considered a move to first base, and according to the umpires, he didn't step off first. You can't do it all in the same motion, and that's not a step off. I mean, that's a move to first base. He decided not to throw. I don't know how you can say that he stepped off on that. I mean, that's not even close. That's actually a pretty good pickoff move.
If he'd have thrown it, he might have had him out.
He might have. Yeah, there was really nothing to argue about there.
Jerry Manuel talking it over with Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief, but no way Pelfrey stepped off. And Pelfrey kind of encouraging his manager to get after it a little more on his behalf.
That's the 5th balk that Pelfrey has committed this year. That's a ton of balks. So he's used to those arguments. I bet he's lost every one of them.
You don't usually win the balk argument. Well, it's a big play. We'll see how it affects the Mets hurler.
Yeah, particularly with all the double plays that he's been rolling. That kind of takes that out of the mix.
Pelfrey has struggled when men have reached base. That's when he kind of gets out of his element this year. Has not today. He's been very good with men on base today. He didn't panic when he had 2 on in the 4th inning to start the inning, and Fielder at the plate. He got out of it with no runs. Tying run at second, Corey Hart the batter. And he drops a bunt down toward third. Wright's going to let it roll, and that was a very smart play for a player who doesn't spend a lot of time here at Miller Park. I mean, that's a play you'd see the home third baseman make, but
well, he really didn't have any choice, because he knew if he picked it up, it was going to be an awfully difficult throw to get Corey at first. Had that spin on it, though, and hit the grass and rolled foul. That was his only hope.
I think Brewers infielders know that that ball rolls foul. You know, there's a certain area where after you take enough ground balls over there, you know where the spot is that it's going to roll foul or not. Hart trying to advance Fielder to third. Squares again and bunts through it, and now Fielder in trouble. The throw to third. Fielder is out. Prince too far off the bag, tried to take third base. And just like that, the Mets get it out.
Man. Boy, a catcher's dream. You get a guy at second base. You have a hitter that bunts right through it. No contact. Prince trying to get a big jump to get to third base on the bunt. Check it out. Bunts right through it. Look at Prince in no man's land. He almost was able to get in. A good relay throw by Alex Cora. And Prince an easy out at third base. Wow.
That is costly. That was a caught stealing.
Not sure if that was a straight sacrifice on Corey's part. It looked more like a bunt for a base hit. Really wasn't squaring around. He was moving as the ball was getting to home plate. That's why he had a tough time putting a bat on it.
Full count to Hart. Leadoff single, a balk. And then Prince eliminated from the base paths. Pelfrey back in the windup. The 3-2. Hart bounces one out to Castillo. 2 outs. That could be a game changer right there. Pelfrey certainly on his game today. He's only surrendered 5 hits. Two gone, and here's Gamble. Has one of those 5 hits. He reached on an infield hit in the second. The Brewers have 5 singles, 2 of those infield hits.
And Pelfrey's only allowed 5 fly ball outs. 2 of them almost left the ballpark. Craig Counsell and Prince Fielder.
Pelfrey's best game of the year by far. One and 2 to Gamble. Wrap foul. Gamble out in front of a breaking ball. Bullpen is active. Feliciano is the left-hander. Sean Green the right-hander. The Mets have one of the premier closers in all the game, Francisco Rodriguez, who has 20 saves this year. And by all means, they shorten the game significantly in a spot like this, because Rodriguez will have the ninth if they have the lead. Gamble down on strikes. And the inning ends. It was promising to begin, but a base running blunder. And the Brewers are done in the 7th. Still 1 He leads trailing 1-0. 7 innings, 5 hits allowed to the Mets, 1 earned run, and the 12 strikeouts, a new career high for Giovanni Gallardo.
Well, just had good command of everything. Didn't throw too many changeups today. It was the curveball and the fastball, well located. Made only the one mistake with a curveball, a 3-1 curveball up in the zone to Ryan Church. And right now, it could very well have cost him the game.
Church with a 3-hopper that found its way to the outfield, and it scored Castillo in the 6th inning. 1-0 is our score. Villanueva on to pitch for the Brewers, facing the top of this Mets order.
Yeah, Villa had a tough time in the first game of this series. That was on Monday night. You see the ERA. He worked so hard to get that earned run average down to a pretty good spot, but has struggled lately, and now over 5. And Carlos, one of those guys that just has to have pinpoint control with all of his pitches, particularly his fastball. When he leaves it up in the zone, it gets hit hard. When he's not able to throw it for strikes, gets behind an account, doesn't have the velocity to be able to throw it by hitters.
Surrendered 5 consecutive hits on Monday, and that included 2 doubles and a home run. 3 earned runs allowed before Hoffman came in to save it. Alex Cora is 1 for 3. Gallardo struck him out twice looking on fastballs. The Mets are headed to Pittsburgh after the game today. They have to make up a game tomorrow against the Pirates. So what was a scheduled off day will now be lost for the Mets. After the single game in Pittsburgh, they go to Philadelphia. Start a weekend series with the Phillies, their rival in the National League East.
And the only team that's playing well in the East right now, the Florida Marlins, are playing some pretty good baseball. Phillies have lost 7 out of 10, as have the Mets.
Marlins are in 2nd place in the East right now. They are a game and a half back of the Phillies. The Mets are in 3rd, 3 back. And as frustrating as it has been for the Mets, losers of 5 in a row, at some point you have to just draw a line in the sand and say, look, we've had all these injuries, and yet we're right there, right in the middle of this pennant race.
And nobody's willing to take control of the division, just like the Central for that matter. Hey, Brewer fans, on Saturday, the 11th of July, the Brewers take to the field against the Los Angeles Dodgers at 6:05. The first 15,000 fans 21 and older will get a Milwaukee Brewers and Miller Lite Taste Protector baseball cap. That's compliments of triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling.
Castillo takes a strike, 1 away here in the 8th. Castillo's double set up the run scoring 6th inning for the Mets. Castillo just kind of served one down the line in left field, a little flare that found its way fair, and an extra base hit. Something he does very well. He's made a career out of doing that. The epitome of a slap hitter. Just like that. That is going to spin foul.
Tough guy to strike out. If you leave something out over the plate, it's going to hurt you. You got to crowd him. You got to pound him hard with the fastball inside. Breaking pitches down in the zone. And you leave that 88, 89 mile an hour fastball up and away, he'll kill you. He'll wear out that left field line.
Castillo 6 times in his career has hit 300 or better. Villanueva works it full to 3-2.
Nick Castillo's only struck out 17 times in over 220 at bats. Puts it in play, and he used to be able to fly.
Twice led the league in stolen bases. Once stole 62 bases in a season back in 2000. He's one of the rare hitters that has actually walked nearly twice the amount of times that he struck out. Mets picked him up back in 07 from the Twins in a trade. Ryan Braun standing right there, makes a play for out number 2. A couple of pop-ups against Villanueva, and with nobody on base and 2 outs, it's David Wright. Wright had his hands full with Giovanni Gallardo. Yo struck him out 3 times.
That curveball in the dirt, a curveball that he looked at, and then looked at a fastball right down the middle because he was so worried about getting that curveball again.
One at bat leads to the next, right?
Well, guys have a pattern. David Wright up there, guessing with 2 strikes, which is a very dangerous proposition. When you guess right, good things happen. When you don't, you look bad.
David Wright putting together an ironic season statistically. He leads the league in hitting, but strikes out a ton. He's got a chance to be near the top in strikeouts as well. He's not going to lead the league as long as Mark Reynolds is playing in Arizona, but Wright is up there in strikeouts.
Yeah, Mark Reynolds with the Diamondbacks has struck out 103 times already. That's a lot.
That's amazing.
That's a lot. That's a lot of strikeouts.
The 1-2 on the ground. J.J. Hardy gobbles it up, and the side retired. Good inning for Villanueva. Brewers down a run, running out of time. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Series, the Brewers make it a bit of a sweep. Gallardo gave him his best today. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. He struck out 12, a career high. But Mike Pelfrey has been better. He has shut out the Brewers through 7 innings. The only run came in the 6th. Ryan Church, an RBI single that scored Luis Castillo with 1 out. That has been it. Pelfrey, 5 strikeouts. And back on the mound to start the 8th inning. Trying to take it right up to Francisco Rodriguez. Bottom of the order for the Brewers here in the 8th. It's Kendall to lead off. followed by Jody Garrett in the pitcher spot, and then back to the top. The Brewers have had a couple of chances. They put 2 on with nobody out in the 4th and couldn't score. And then had a leadoff hit by Fielder last inning. He was balked to second base, but was then thrown out when he was virtually picked off at second on a failed bunt attempt by Corey Hart.
Brewers have been very good with runners in scoring position so far in this series, but today 0 for 5, haven't had too many chances.
Kendall in a 2-ball 2-strike count. Our Home Depot doing more on defense. It was the miraculous catch and throw by Jason Kendall on a caught stealing against Ryan Church in the 6th inning.
Ball bounced before it got to Jason. Ball bounced before it got to Craig, and Church and at second base. Good glove work.
That was a significant play. If Church makes it, he's at second base with just 1 out in the 6th inning. And Gallardo in a whole heap of trouble. 2-2. Kendall stays alive. Brewers trying to make it a 6-3 homestand. Dropped 2 out of 3 to the Twins to start it, and then 1, 2 of 3 from the Giants. A 2-game lead in the Central to start the day for the Brewers. Kendall strikes out, number 6 for Pelfrey.
Well, he elevated the fastball, got it right by Kendall. Hasn't thrown too many fastballs up there, not out over the plate. He's busted hitters up and in with it, but left that one out over the plate. Jason couldn't get a piece of it.
Jody Garrett with 1 out. 1-0 Mets. Brewers down to their last 5 outs. Garrett wraps 1 out, bobbled by Cora. Recovers for the out. 2 away. So 2 gone for Frank Catalanato, who will come on to hit. He'll hit for Villanueva. And a frustrating day offensively for the Brewers. And tip your hat to Mike Pelfrey.
A lot of ground ball outs, only 5 fly ball outs given up by Pelfrey today. That sinker's been working very well.
Francisco Rodriguez will have the 9th. Catalanato got the start back on Monday night. Had 2 hits, on base 3 times. Lines that one into left center. That's down for a base hit. So Frank Catalanato with a pinch hit single.
Yeah, he started Monday night's game and had a good day at the plate. One of the reasons why you'd like to try and get your bench players some starts from time to time, give them those consistent at bats. Catalanato with 2 hits on Monday and delivers a pinch hit here today. Brewers have had a tough time with the pinch hits this year. Catalanato delivers with 2 outs.
Tying runners aboard, and here is Counsell, who almost hit one out of the ballpark in the first inning against Pelfrey. Counsell doing all he can to get Hardy an at bat in this 8th inning. The Mets outfielder is extremely deep. They're trying to cut off any possibility of an extra base hit. Two balls, no strikes.
May very well be Pelfrey's last hitter. The right-hander loosening up.
Two and one. Pelfrey at 105 pitches. Trevor Hoffman in case the Brewers tie it or take the lead. Although Ken Maka did say the other day he's going to have to think about bringing Hoffman in a tie game. We'll see if that conversation actually occurred.
Well, I guess it's going to be dependent upon how the rest of the bullpen's set up. Who's available, who's not, and how Trevor's throwing at the time.
That's a pretty economical effort right there by a starting pitcher.
Yeah, pretty consistent throughout.
Brewers with a little glimmer of light, however, in the eighth. Two outs, runner at first, and a 3-1 misses, and Counsell draws an important walk. 2 on with 2 outs. And that will get Hardy to the plate. The tying run now in scoring position, and Jerry Manuel has seen enough.
Yep, it's going to be green. The side armor has been loosening for J.J. Hardy.
The Mets go to their bullpen. Pelfrey is out with 2 outs in the eighth. Stay with us. Facing a team with a premier closer feel more of a sense of urgency when trailing late in the game? Emily from Sheboygan. And the answer is yes. Absolutely. Especially with a closer like Francisco Rodriguez, who is one of the best in the game right now, and single season saves record a year ago. So this is the time for the Brewers, Emily. 2 on with 2 out, and Sean Green, the sidewinder, is in the pitch to J.J. Hardy.
Well, he's going to be in there for J.J. Hardy and maybe Ryan Braun if J.J. is able to extend the inning. Left-hander getting loose for the eventual at-bat for Prince Fielder. Being the sidearm are very tough on right-handers.
A base hit, and the Brewers can tie it. 1-0 Mets. 2 outs in the eighth. Hardy is 1 for 3 in this game. Takes a ball. Braun is next.
You see that big sink on that pitch because of the arm angle. You got to make him get the pitch up in the strike zone before you get 2 strikes. Get something to elevate, something to bang in the gap.
A slinger in there for strike one. Pelfrey 7 2/3, 6 hits. At this point, no runs on a walk and 6 strikeouts. Check that, 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Catalanato at second, Counsell at first. And Hardy rolls over one right, will go to the bag, and the inning ends. And the Brewers come up empty in the 8th. To the 9th we go. 1-0 Mets. Be allowed to play in the minor leagues while serving a 50-game suspension, and 88% say no at this point. We'll keep it going before we wrap it up Sunday at Wrigley Field. Chris Smith is on the pitch for the Brewers. As we head to the 9th, the Mets lead the Brewers 1-0 here at Miller Park.
Now the numbers for Smith, pretty good work. Closer down in the minor leagues, down in Nashville, a 188 earned run average, 12 strikeouts in just a little over 14 innings of work. At 12 saves down in AAA.
Mets got a run in the 6th inning on a Ryan Church RBI single. Scored Castillo. Giovanni Gallardo is on the hook for the loss right now. Pelfrey in line for his 6th win. Both pitched very well. Church has been on twice. 1 for 2 with an RBI, a stolen base, and he was caught stealing in the 6th. Little half swing roller out to Counsell. And Smith has out number 1 here in the 9th inning.
Good change up by Smith. That's probably his best pitch. Got a good change up, a slider, and a fastball. Pitched a couple of days ago.
She's got a rally hat on. And a birthday hat. Nick Evans for the Mets. Breaking ball, strike. Smith has shown good command since being promoted from AAA Nashville. And really, this is the first time he's been given a late inning assignment in a tight game like this.
Well, Coffey and DeFelice both have thrown quite a bit. We'd like to be able to get through this ball game, have Smith pitch a scoreless inning and get the Brewers back in a dugout swinging a bat.
Now the Brewers are right where they want to be with their batting order. Ryan Braun leads off, then Fielder, and then Hart. And Chris Smith trying to make sure the deficit stays at 1. 1-2 to Evans. Bouncer to Gamble. Long throw across the diamond in time. Boy, Gamble's got an arm.
He does, doesn't he?
Effortless power from his right arm right there.
Fielder catches that ball. You can just see it snap his glove back. There's a guy right there. You play first base during batting practice. That guy makes some throws. You can break a glove in a couple of days.
Playing time for Gamble is going to be an interesting dynamic here the next couple of weeks up until the All-Star break. McGee's hot. Counsell banged up a little bit. You'd like to see Gamble in there against right-handers, but with McGee swinging the bat so well, it was McGee who got the start against Nieve in the opener. And of course that was a memorable game for Casey McGee. Hit a grand slam home run that day.
Yeah, tough to keep that guy out of the lineup. The way he's been swinging a bat.
Two outs. Daniel Murphy at the plate, 0 for 3. Gallardo struck him out twice. And that one's hit high in the air to right. Playable for Hart. Chris Smith, a 3-up, 3-down inning, and the stage is set. One of the game's best closers against some of the best hitters the Brewers have to offer coming up. Prince Fielder leads the way with 20, Braun with 16, and those two are coming up against Francisco Rodriguez of the New York Mets. Braun to start it, then Fielder, then Hart. And the Mets leading 1-0 as Francisco Rodriguez takes over, making a bid at his 21st save of the year.
And a very flamboyant closer for the Mets has been tremendous as you take a look at our At the Plate presented by Wendy's. Ryan Braun, 1 for 2, a single. That back in the 4th inning.
Jeremy Reed takes over in left. And here is Rodriguez against Braun. Braun has a hit today. He lined one out in the 6th inning to end the inning. And a nasty breaking ball from Rodriguez, who also features one of the best changeups in the game.
Yeah, look at the strikeouts. 39 strikeouts and just shy of 37 innings. He will walk you. 22 walks in that stretch.
Fastball ripped into center field, a base hit. Braun breaks his bat, but he's aboard to start the inning. Well, earlier on this homestand, the Brewers came back against a premier closer. Last night, Prince Fielder homered against one of the best starting pitchers in Johan Santana. That was his Powerball home run number 20. A long ball here, the Brewers win it. A crowd of over 35,000 on their feet now.
Well, you mentioned Rodriguez with overpowering stuff. Good fastball, that breaking ball that you talked about, amongst the best in the business. He throws that for a strike. Makes him very tough.
In his first year with the Mets, coming over from the Angels in free agency. Big cut from Fielder.
Not a bad changeup either. Oh, good pitch. First pitch, Prince looking to knock one out of here. Gave him the changeup, had him way out in front.
Rodriguez had 62 saves last year. 3 times he led the American League in saves. Set the Major League record a season ago. That gets away. Braun thought about it and then holds up. He couldn't see it right away, or else it would have been an easy move to second. But not wanting to take the risk with Fielder at the plate.
Yeah, you better be able to walk to second base in this situation. You got some home run power coming up.
The Brewers could be one swing away from a win and a sweep. A ball and a strike to Fielder. And a drive right to Cora. Snap throw to first. Not in time. Boy, man. Fielder right on the screws. Lines out for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that's the third time he has centered on one. He flew out very deep to right in the fourth. Can't hit it any better than that, Prince. Hang with him. Boy, good approach. Right at Cora. Barely had to move.
Tough break for the Brewers. Remember, Braun lined out in the 6th inning with a runner at second. He hit a shot into right center. Martinez made the catch. So the Brewers haven't got many breaks in this game. Milwaukee tied with the Yankees for most comeback wins. If they pull this one off, they'll go to the top of the list. Corey Hart is 0 for 3. All 3 of his outs have come on the ground. Braun started the inning with a single. Still at first. Little cue shot off the end of the bat. Schneider jumps on it, and the throw is in time as Hart is out. Braun advances to second base. The Brewers down to their last out, and it's going to be Casey McGee to come off the bench.
There's that changeup once again right off the end of Corey's bat. A cue shot and an easy out at first. Very interesting decision right here. Get the left-handed hitting Gamble come due up, and you go to Casey McGee. That's the old adage. I mean, Casey McGee, one of the Brewers' hottest hitters. You hate to lose a game 1-0 and not have him come to the plate at some point.
Got a base open at first. Jerry Manuel just making sure his lineup card is correct. So here's Casey McGee. Had a grand slam against the Mets on Monday. 5 homers, 21 runs batted in, and a .325 batting average. His lone hit in this series was a big one. A base hit, the Brewers will tie it. A long ball, and it's a win. Bouncer out to short. Cora's got it. And the Mets win the final game of the series. Francisco Rodriguez with his 21st save and a 1-0 New York win. Yovani Gallardo, the tough luck loser, here this afternoon. Pelfrey the winner. Gallardo the loser. K-Rod number 21. Brewers Live coming up right after the turn.